Happy New Year, everyone! Happy New Year! Welcome to this year's first, and I think in total like 6th or 7th, which one? Seventh Vibe Coding Cologne. Respect to all of you who are making it out in the snow. I thought maybe half the room would be full. We were like, oh, nobody's gonna get through this fucking weather here. But cheers to you all who made it. Yeah? Cheers. So, what are we up for? Vibe Coding Cologne. Again, crazy gathering of AI enthusiasts and context engineers. Yeah, we love to learn about our community, so I've got a couple of questions for you. I'll have you raise your hands. But if you are not in the WhatsApp group yet, where you can participate in this wonderful quiz that I'm suggesting to you, and you're not in there, you can scan this QR code now and join a group of now 500 crazy ones. Isn't that insane? No. If we have 500 people in the WhatsApp group, like 90% of people just coming here from the Vibe Coding Cologne. Yeah, community. This is where you find your peers, but we want to know more. So after you're in the WhatsApp group, I'll share the link to our quiz again in case you haven't participated yet. There's lots of interesting things we ask you. Yeah, so some people are still joining. Let's push it one more time. And then just open the first link. And yeah, let's start with the first question. So, what's your skill level? Like, who is honestly here and says, not out of modesty, but I have never vibe coded a line of code in my life? Who is that? Yeah? Totally fine, that's all of us here, yeah? Okay, who would say you're already like an AI enthusiast? Okay, and who identifies as a context engineer with a software development background? All right, great. Who's here for the very first time? Oh. Fuck. That is a New Year resolution in a nutshell. Amazing. Like, I consider myself pretty advanced, but I don't have a development background. I studied psychology and started my own startups 15 years ago on WordPress shit. And then I moved to mobile apps, but I wasn't a developer. And then I moved into B2B SaaS and fell in love with that. And now, 1 year ago, I went on this vibe coding journey, launched 2 SaaS products since then, and taught a couple of you how to vibe code more deeply, and just built this community with Christina, my loved one and my partner in crime. We are now engaged. So she is literally vibe coding a wedding planner. No. You want to call it? No, we cannot tell it yet until we say something. Okay, next question. What are you interested in? Are you do you want to build like prototypes with vibe coding, just business process automation, or real production software? Or do you want to scale marketing, analyze your data? So who wants to build like live processes? This is multiple choice. You can raise your hand for how many? Okay, who wants to automate business stuff? That's me, definitely. I do that shit ton. Develop production-ready software in the hands of users. Look around. This is what we want. We want production software with vibe coding. That is a wild combination, right? 6 months ago, everyone would have laughed. Now, even the hardiest developers realize that maybe the last 30 days, I didn't commit anything I wrote myself. Yeah, and more of these developers, like, they wake up and say like, okay, this is a choice that they can make if they want to. If they still want to do artisanal coding, they can, but in practice, in real life, they probably have as much time for that as for gaming. Yeah, so who would like to scale their marketing efforts with help of vibe coding? Okay, a few more. This was originally a growth marketing community, a community for marketing nerds. And vibe coding just created a credible dimension and added that to that. If you guys want to have a seat, there are like little cubes in that corner. So just enter in the last door of the room and maybe pick a cube and come back where you're standing right now. And who would like to analyze their data? All right. Anything else that I missed that should be on this list?
Oh, hell of a lot.
Hell of a lot. Yeah, that's fucking good. All right. Which tools are you using? Yeah. Nothing yet. No tools yet because you're doing nothing yet. Okay. Getting into it. Then whose dominant IDE interactive development environment is Cursor? Okay. Whose is Windsurf? Okay. Who is Claude Code? Land? Oh, that's surprising. Yeah. Previously it was Cursor most, Claude Code second. Now it's Claude Code most. Anybody on any of the lovable, bold V0s of the world? Yeah, this is also fine. This is usually where you run into a certain wall of complexity. Yeah, after a while, and then you seek refuge in Cursor or Claude Code.
How many codecs?
Huh?
How many codecs?
Oh yeah, I'll ask a few more. Yeah, but you mean OpenAI's Codex? Anyone? Interesting, interesting. So you have somebody to talk to. Anti-gravity. Yeah, I hear a lot of good stuff about that, but still is niche. Any editor I forgot? Kilo Code? Huh? Warp. Anyone? Any Warpies? All right.
Base 44?
Huh? Base 44, like that would be included in the V0s, bolts, and lovables. Base 44, you? Okay. NNN for automation stuff. That's me, definitely. Make, still somebody, or did you all switch to NNN yet? Yeah. Okay, that's usually the thing. Okay, then a more delicate question. How much are you spending? Who's spending 0 on their IDE? Yeah. $20. The next category is, I think, 60. Then the next category is 100. Then the max plans, 200. Okay, and who's fucking crazy? What are you spending, mate?
Multiple $200 plans?
Okay. Just for yourself, or you're serving your team? Just for yourself.
Just myself.
Just for yourself. Anyone else? You too? What's your damage?
Around 500 for 1 month.
Yeah.
Just not months, I think week.
For yourself or your team?
Just for myself.
This is the newest form of cocaine. Yeah, if you get a taste of it, yeah, you start creeping free tier, $20. $20 is no discussion even in the workshops anymore. Yeah? The students pay $20 for that stuff, but then you use it and keep using it. You land in the 100 tier, then the 200 tier, and then you pay on top. Christina, I don't know what the damage was last month. 300? Ish. I burned 3 billion tokens in 2025 on Cursor. Did one of you get this fun recap thing for Claude Code? Yeah?
1 billion.
Yeah, you're on 1 billion. Like, we had somebody in the community who posted 6 billion. Yeah, so I'm not the worst. Yeah, I'm not the worst. Yeah. Okay, this is very interesting to see also, to get to know each other, like people who are spending a lot of token think about other problems. They think about running asynchronous agents. They think about not only output, but also efficiency. And you should talk. You should talk to each other. Yeah?
What about Manus AI?
Oh yeah, that was bought recently by Anthropic for 3 fucking billions. Yeah, Manus. Anyone Manus?
Meta.
Meta.
Oh, Meta.
Yeah, Meta bought that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone on Manus? No? Okay, I spent one.
By Meta. Yeah, sorry. Okay, this is a question on your current challenges, desired solutions. Okay, how much time per week do you spend on vibe coding? I used to be on the 16 tab, but this is embarrassingly not true anymore. So I'm like 4 hours a day, my work, my normal marketing work. I'm writing my content, I'm doing my ad campaigns with MCP servers in Cursor. Yeah, like what the fuck happened there in a couple of weeks here. Okay, you can see the results for everyone. Your own results are going to be in red. Yeah, you can see how crazy this community is. Yeah, lots of AI enthusiasts, a few context engineers, and pretty advanced ones. Yeah, 111 people, 131 people. I just refreshed. I thought 20 of you must have participated since then. And this is where you can see and understand what are people using, what problems do they have, what solutions are they looking for. And you can see that meetup talks and sessions is by far the most upvoted ones and templates. So if you have something cool to share, if you build something interesting, if you have a good story that is authentic and relatable, you don't have to be a developer. Yeah, explicitly not. Yeah, we usually split the track between AI enthusiasts and developers, but I'm not even sure that we're going to do this today because the talks that we have lined up today are very, very interesting for both tracks. Yeah, but when we get to the splitting point, hey Logan, come in, grab a cube.
Don't worry, guys. Here you can start now.
We usually split. I'll ask you if some of you want to go on the context engineer track, but I think everything that we talk about today is very, very interesting for both parties. All right, so the evil plan for today. We did some pre-meeting chit-chat, 1830 to 1900. Did you like that? Should we continue doing that? We didn't do that usually. Or should we do something during these 30 minutes or just keep it casual like today? Casual?
Yes.
Yeah? Just chit-chat a little bit, join early. And all of you were on time. That was amazing. That was like that never happens.
Someone is waiting in front of the door.
Okay, so I want to give you a little welcome, yeah, which I just did, and show you what I have been messing with interactive articles. Yeah, because my marketing brain fused with my product developer brain more and more, and one of the outcomes is the idea of more engaging interactive articles. I was thinking, okay, how do I write my articles? Okay, do I go in Notion? Do I write it on my tablet? And the more and more I thought about it, I knew Cursor was the place where I want to write my articles. So how do they look like now? Here are the Captain's Insights. The first one was published on Monday. And so now every Monday you will get one of those Captain's Insights articles. If you sign up for any of the events, then I'll force you into the newsletter until you unsubscribe. And here we go. Yeah, I created an article. After I've created it, I recorded it, and the very first episode of the Captain's Insights, and give people a walkthrough of the article, essentially giving my opinion piece on it, adding a nice YouTube video, yeah, to the flow. Then a little TLDR, and here's the first interactive element. Now here, people that read this article can participate. The title of the article is, you don't need better ideas, you need to commit to one idea, right? And now what is stopping you from committing to that one idea that you now finally this quarter will build? And then you can see people vote, and it just ends up in a database. Do you think I could have done this like a year ago? No chance. No chance. Now you just say like, hey, could you please create like a little voting module I can repeat in every one of my articles, and it's a line here, and it's even applicable for anonymous users. So let me share this in the WhatsApp group, and please join and vote on this question, yeah, if you're interested. And let's see how this develops. Yeah, here we go. And this is a multiple choice question. So what is keeping you from, what is stopping you the most from committing to one idea? We see most people, sorry for the framing, yeah. You only see the results after you did your first vote, so we don't frame you too hard. I'm not sure which idea is right. I don't feel ready or capable yet, and I can't afford to quit my job, and very low on, I've started before and it didn't work, and I don't know where to begin. This tells you so much about your reader, and it makes it more interactive and engaging. Yeah, in total. And so this is just content as code. Yeah, and then I want you guys to think about that. Like now that you write, you're capable of doing that. How should marketing, how should content look like in 2026? Yeah, and how can we make that more interesting? Let's see if some of you voted here. Oh, 54 votes. Yeah. But we see a lot of us have the question of which is the right idea. which is why I think next month we have a couple of more UX-oriented talks who are tackling that topic of validating the idea that you want to commit to. But at the end of the day, you need to keep the scope small, build something on the side, and prove that that idea is worth going for. It's not the choice between keeping your job and quitting. It's building on the side and letting the idea prove that it's worth pursuing long term, because most ideas are shit. But vibe coding now allows us to build a prototype on the weekend and see how the world reacts. And of course, this image was created with AI. My favorite image generation platform, which hosts all generative media models you could potentially wish for, and most importantly, not another subscription. You upload $50 and it's enough for like 2,000 images with Nano Banana Pro. So plenty. So then you can keep discussing. I inputted my personal journeys, experiences with that, created some more imagery. But what I found interesting is the idea of giving everyone at the end something that they can actually play with, that they can actually interact with. So the idea I came up with is the 7-day plan, where you get 7 prompts for 7 days. Let me show you how this looks like on an anonymous browser. I wanted something where people are willing to put in their email address. Voting, I don't believe in that. That people are willing to give me their email for that. But getting 7 prompts for 7 days that help me implement the idea that was communicated in that article in my actual work, in my environment, with my ChatGPT, with my Claude or Gemini, that is interesting. So you give a little teaser, but if they want to interact, they have to unlock. And then they can just unlock with Google or email. This is clerk authentication working on that side. And that unlocks everything, and they can have those prompts, copy them, and it's built on the framework that the article laid out in general, in the hopes that this is interesting enough for people to get the value, to subscribe, to become a member of the community. So that's a little thing that I played with. Of course, my marketing brain wanted something SEO and GEO optimized. So I added a Q&A section to it as well. Put my author thing there, another call to action section with opportunity to join the next events. And that's it. That is what I think could happen in article land. I wasn't convinced of just writing like raw markdown files, which a lot of developers do. I wanted something that I could craft every single time, that has a certain repeatable structure, but where I can build modules like the voting, like the 7-day ship plan, and keep providing value that way. And on the cursor side, this looks something like this.
One question.
Yeah, sure.
Can you directly send these prompts to large language models out of your website?
Is that possible? I wouldn't want to pick the tool which I sent it to, but it's a good idea. My evil plan is we have a tool called the Captain here in the lab, which is a full-fledged chat with multiple models that you can pick. And I want to run it on the side, and that you can immediately run this on the side and make this engaging there. But I want people to take it to their environment, because Cursor has become my place of context. I thought it would be Notion. Please do not open my environment variables. Thank you. So here's the Captain's Insights rules. Here's very clear information about how I want to have these insights articles laid out, similar to a Claude Code skill, I would say. I use Cursor rules a very similar way. Until in February, I'm going to make this switch to Claude Code, go down from the 200 € subscription in Cursor to 20, keep that around, and then probably start with 100 € on Claude Code. And see if I get enough tokens in these windows that I have to get used to and wake up in the night, yeah, to get another bunch of tokens burned. And all of the context that is necessary to write the article is also in here. Yeah, there's a docs folder with context, and here is my strategy, here is my tone of voice, my theme, my storytelling framework, with everything I believe to know about my audience, how I like to speak, who they are, what problems they have, what insights I have about their transformational process, and the psychological frameworks I'm employing in the communication, yeah, that I do. Hey, that was interesting.
Sorry.
No problem, mate, no problem. Sorry that you don't have a seat. Yeah, next time, join even earlier. Okay, and yeah, this is my thing on interactive articles. Do you guys have any questions before we move on?
First question, did you code, or did you live code the website, or did you still use some kind of, I don't know, WordPress or something?
No, it's all vibe coded.
Live code. And second question,
I kicked WordPress completely. All of this is Next.js.
Huh?
Yeah, everything in here that you see.
and what's the great benefit in having all your context stored in Cursor? Is it because it's automatically referencing when you do it? What's the
Yeah, when it's building the website, you can always reference the content standard framework when you want to update copy on the landing pages or have a first draft written. Then the results is already 8 out of 10. And then I go through and fine tune and make sure it's really my voice. But with the amount of context it now has, I get an 8 out of 10 on the first shot. And that is the primary benefit of having it in there. And otherwise, I hate managing content documents in ChatGPT projects. I don't know why I cannot update the files that I upload to ChatGPT projects. It makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. I always have to create that markdown file in a new version. And whenever I don't like something, and I think it's a consistent thing in the story framework, I tell it to update the cursor rule and the story framework so that the next article already has that information in. I find that so much more satisfying. The only experience that comes close is the business plan from Notion. Yeah, because it allows me to also use top-tier models like Opus and GPT 5.2.
This is quite a general thing. Maybe there are some others here who have vibe-coded general projects that are nice to know that someone is working on some cool stuff.
Yeah, we will definitely ask about that in the Q&A, but I want you to think about that. If you are working on an interesting project you would like us to know about, after the 3 talks today, you have a chance to just stand up and tell, hey, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. And you can ask me for sure to host a session next time. So we have dedicated space for that. Thanks for the reminder.
Did Cursor ever destroy your rules or something?
Yeah, so the rules are usually in the cursor ignored area, so I need to give explicit consent to do it, and it's no problem to roll them back.
Cursor
It destroyed my environment variables twice. That was much worse than having the rules destroyed, because the environment variables naturally do not go into the version history. That was fucking annoying. And I now rolled an interesting setup where I have the source of truth on Vercel for development, preview, and production. And I have a cursor rule that updates then my secrets on Vercel, and then I pull them down from Vercel, even for development, because it was too fucking annoying to use one password. Who was it?
Yeah, question about articles. Like, have you thought about going multiple lanes? For example, if they have like a quiz and have a certain answer, that they get different content from if they have like a different answer?
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I want. It's 100% what I want and where I see the future. I try to scope things down to manageable, releasable parts. I want to use every single week to make an improvement to the next iteration of the Captain's insights, not only content, but the way it is presented. And I'm 100% thinking in that direction. Yeah, you even have to know about pirate skills that since we have the captain, everyone who uses the captain already has context saved here. So if you go to the lab, you see that my context about my business, like pirate skills, Benzifiani, audience, markets, products and services, is already in here. And I would like for the people who are part of the community to get a completely personalized version of each article. But can switch back to the default if they don't like it or if it feels too stocky. Yeah?
One impulse from my side, hyper-personalization. This works really well, and Duolingo does hidden A/B testing of your own personality. Do you love to read long text or do you prefer images? So different versions of Duolingo look after a very short period of time completely different. And so for you, the impulse hyper-personalization, people who who love to read only headings and see images, and have the comic style version of the captain, so that you do some hidden A/B testing and copy this hyper-personalization idea.
And all of this A/B testing, I can now also vibe code with the help of a tool called post hoc, which allows me to set so-called feature flags. And it's all managed through an MCP server, so I can use my natural language to say, I would like to test this against that, and I don't have to set up the A/B test myself. I just have to know the principles around it, and I'm sure that is something we talk about in the future months. Yeah, how to do that kind of a bit crazy stuff. So you can even switch your context in here. So let's say I want to take the perspective from AXA or DBV or what other companies where I have my context already set up. You could even do it like for your hobby versus a specific project that you're currently working on. That is what I'm seeing. Not the idea, but it wasn't in the scope of week 1. Yeah. Any other wishes? Maybe one last thing, and then I want to hear from the others.
Your broken environment files with the secrets. Just a quick solution, because probably interesting to many people. When you encrypt the whole thing, in Claude, etc., don't touch them. So you need a pipeline to decrypt the encrypted secrets, and you're never going to have this problem again. SOPs is what I use for that.
What? What do you use for?
SOPs.
SOPs.
Yes, I can show you.
All right, that would be cool to look at. Can you send the link in the WhatsApp?
Sure.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you guys. That was my end. Yeah. Beer, Coke, rum is empty. Goddammit. Let's make space for Matthias. So Matthias is here to talk to us about. Hang on.
You forgot already.
I did not forget, but this is already on the next event. God damn it. Tell us, what do you talk about? My favorite topic, I know what he's talking about.
So I'm going to talk about my personal CRM setup and how I'm using Claude Code for this.
Introduce?
Sure.
A little bit, never hurts.
Never hurts. All right.
Let's wait until this works for you. Yeah, choose your extended version.
We just see. Okay, so this is working. And this is working as well. Okay, cool. How much time do I have? Well, I'm not going to be good at time, so you guys need to tell me. Then you need to tell me when good time, bad time, hurry up, stop.
Yeah, you have 50 minutes plus 5 minutes Q&A.
Okay, let's do it. All right, hello, Matthias Lübcken, because there's 2 tonight, out of Bonn. Yeah, I'm, people ask me what do I do? I started software engineering, used to be a developer, then did the management thingy, and somehow I'm back into, I don't know, developer again? I don't know what I am right now, but I'm building stuff again, and I enjoy it very much. I'm currently building a platform, an agent. What do you guys do today, right? I'm building an agent platform. If anyone is interested at Tavon AI, I would appreciate feedback and input. But for today, I'm going to talk about coding agents, and we heard a little bit about that. I heard a lot of people raising their hands about coding agents. And Ben asked, like, you know, who would be, would this be in context engineering track or for the general audience? And I explicitly said, like, I want to tell this about for the general audience, because I think we're seeing something coming up that will dramatically, or is already dramatically changing the industry. So I want to, you know, share that as much as I can. So coding agents, general concept, examples, and then my demo. So first off, I don't know how you feel and how you gauge this whole craziness, but for me it's always about like personal trust, right? People that I'm following, etc. And I didn't need to be convinced, but if you still need to be convinced, and you have heard about this DHH guy, who's like very critical of a lot of things and very dramatic. He invented Rails, big company, and he wrote this 8 hours ago. He was very critical about AI and where things are going in coding agents. And he said this like 8 hours ago, but with these autonomous agents, the experience feels very different. So we're on to something. And it's very important. And this whole, like, this talk and the other talks, they're kind of like inspired by a conversation where people say, you know, they're going the wrong way, coding agents don't work. And it's important that we circle around what are we actually talking about. This is a classic, it's like 2 years or something, or a year, or right? But an ancient setup, right? This is Copilot, GitHub Copilot. You have some code and some code reviews, and you have some chat on the side, and they all look pretty similar. But something has changed, and that's beyond Copilot. And that's Claude Code, right? Who feels like, you know, that they're like familiar or that they can use the terminal in some session, whether it's on a Mac or some other? Who feels that they're happy with using the terminal? All right? If you don't raise your hand, right, I encourage you to change that, because that's the stepping stone that you need to take. So this is actually Claude Code, right? You open it, you get this prompt, and you start doing it away, and which we're going to see in a second. But it's interesting, and this is, and I don't know if you've seen this, but the original author of Claude Code back in it was February, like it's not even a year ago, when he said, well, we launched this side project, Claude Code, right? And back in February he launched it. And someone raised that original tweet, and he said, well, it only had like 11 likes. Nobody noticed it, right? Originally, right? And now it's like changing everything. I truly believe it's changing a lot of things. So pretty new. There's open source projects, others are following, but you can already see it's heading somewhere else. This is the Anthropic Claude AI, the desktop application. And you can switch between chat and code. And here in that window, underneath, the same things are happening, which we're going to see in a second, right? So what I'm saying is, like, please give it a try, use it today, because these are the things that you're going to see more and more products coming out this year that are following this. And it's even more, Anthropic is positioning this whole setup as an SDK, as a general SDK. And I'm going to post the links. Yesterday there was a workshop, recording of a workshop coming out. They're positioning this as a general basis for building agents, right? So there's something happening here. And also, this also came up today. Someone wrote a canvas. So you have a Claude Code on the left side, and on the right-hand side, in the terminal, they started creating a preview of the files that they're working on, right? This is an email example. Lots of things happening, crazy. I'm going to only talk about Claude Code, but we talked about others. So this is not about like Anthropic. They pioneered this, and I think they're doing an awesome job. Not saying you should use Claude Code. Use some other. If you're an open source, if you want to have model independence, use open code. Use something else, right? I happen to use Claude Code, and you know I can't keep up with all the shit and everything that's happening. I'm sticking to Claude Code for now. All right. I'm going to do a demo. It's going to be fancy, right? But all these AI demos are fancy, right? So what I would like to press is like a little bit of the concepts underneath, so you kind of like get where this is coming from, and you can kind of like apply this to something else. So bear with me, a little bit of concepts. When I think about this coding, CLI coding agent, I think there's a couple of core concepts that are really important. First off, it has access to the file system, right? And this is like we're in the terminal, right? File system, Unix file systems, you can create files. Actually, Unix is based on files, but it has files and can create files, and we'll see this in a second. And we have a runtime to start applications and to start our own scripts. There's tools running on top of these. These tools, the agent Claude comes with these, right? So reading, writing, finding with grep, a different kind of tools of working with it. And therefore, our system, right, whether it's a coding agent or in our case, in a second, the CRM, can create scripts. And this, and the current interface is a command line interface, but we'll see, I think, in this year, well, that's my 2026 predictions, we will see other interfaces. But the important part is that you can create the scripts. And this is one of the essential differences that with other agents or other setups. This is how Anthropic says this. Bash is all you need. So Bash is the shell, one of the shells, and they've created this Bash tool, and that happens to be a good interface. I don't know, they've created it. And they are basically using this to create and manipulate files, to create scripts and interact with the whole system, right? So think about it, right? We have a runtime, we have the CLI, and there's different tools like Bash to work all with this. I'll share the links later, but this is the core difference. And again, other tools are doing something similar. Why is this so? What happened? What happened that it works in such a great way? Claude Code. This is how they describe the agent SDK loop, of how they think about like working with agents. You gather context, you take action, and you verify work. And Claude Code, the coding agent, it happened. It's not by coincidence that it worked that way. Because in this verify work, you have things for every programmer, right? You have things like the compiler, you have things like testing, and this goes with all different types of languages. You have linting, and this verifies the work that the agent has produced, that the LLM has produced. Because you suddenly have something where you can produce something, and then you afterwards have a way to verify this. And then the agent loops is fun. Right? Because then the testing says, well, the compiler didn't work, like the testing didn't work, or the linter didn't work, right? So this test loop is something that you need to think about in your mind. And this is like how Anthropic describes their process. All right, so again, right, the important part here is that we have a runtime, file systems, the Bash working with this. And this is what the coding agents, the new coding agents gives. Claude is promoting this as an SDK, right? So I'm seeing a future here, and if you listen to Anthropic, they put out some examples. Apparently, everyone in Anthropic, surprise, is working with Claude Code, and they have different agents. I know of different companies working with this, and here's some examples that they share, right? So what can you do now, right? So this is an example: fetch emails from this week, extract recipients, etc. And this is like something that Claude Code now uses. And as we're now on the file system and we have Bash, we have curl, a command to reach out to an API, right, and get the data. We have another API that we can call, right? And we have little tools like JQ to sort and mingle around with this. This is an example of working with audio, right? Extract all the moments for speakers. So they grab the data. Well, they seem to have the data already, but they work all through this with different commands. I'll share the slides later, but this is like think about like I now have the runtime. I have different tools working with it, and I have an assistant that can create new tools. All right, so my CRM setup, and this is basically it, right? Yeah, I'm not going to share my CRM data, sorry, but this is my.
Yeah. You want to see it?
Yeah, later, after my funding round. So, but this is, but actually. Huh?
Nothing.
Can you make it bigger?
Even more? Increase font size.
Okay.
All right. Actually, yeah. So this is a plain directory, right? There's a Claude MD, which we're going to look at in a second, and there's a subfolder CRM, and here's tons of data. I have the contacts here. I have customers, cold customers, friends and family, inbox, different types, and I'm going to share this later. But let's hear. I've got Claude Code open, and the first thing is I can say do. Which contacts do I need to work through, right? So what it now does, and it's funny because sometimes it does it this way and sometimes it does another way. So it's kind of like, you know. But what it basically does is it now goes through my contacts, through different, starts reading them, and looks for next actions. Like what are the next actions? So how does it know about next actions, right? This is what where Claude where the I think I've closed it. Where Claude and MD comes in. So what is Claude MD? Claude MD is basically the central element that you provide Claude to give context of what to do, right? And this is, and I'm going to share this, but I would encourage you to build up your own. Because basically, at the end of the day, all I'm doing, let's give this a second. All I'm doing is, if you look into the CRM, contacts, customers.
If a developer would write a CRM.
Exactly. Exactly. So all I'm doing is because remember what I said initially. Claude is great at working with files. So all I'm doing is I'm dumping these into Markdown files. But I'm also adding metadata to this. Metadata in this case is YAML, and there's a standard that initially, and you don't have to follow that standard. It just happens to be that they're great working with it. But it happens that I'm adding this front matter YAML here, right? And it has a couple of properties: the status, the trust, the priority, when I was last contacted, and different types of information. Now this information is in YAML. And in order to work with that, right? So, you know, what would a developer do to have a database, right? Store it all in the CRM. But you can now work with it, right? You can create scripts, you can parse it, you can search for it, yeah. Yes.
Why files and no database?
Because Claude is great at working with it.
Okay.
It turns out. Right. And it's a great question because there's a lot of people are doing is like, what is the difference? And it happens to be, so another question is like, why are you not doing a specific workflow, right? What has changed? Why are you using agents in the first place, right? And there's these agents just happen to be this loosely coupled, this loosely working with things. That just generates new ideas and new workflows down the road, right? So, coding agents are great at working with files, so I'm just throwing everything in files in there.
Thank you.
One question. Maybe you have problems with context size if the database with files is too great.
Yes. So, context management, right, is one of the first things that people take care of about. And if you look at Claude, you actually have commands like compact. You even have compact with optional instructions. So The question is like, okay, I can share so much information into a context window. Is it a problem? So far, I haven't seen that problem, right? In my CRM data, everything works fine. That I'm not saying it shouldn't be, it cannot be, it can be a problem, right? But then I'll work around it, right? So for example, at this point, what we've seen here is that it basically search did all the reading by its own. But it's very simple, and we can do it as well. I don't have enough time, but we can just create a script that grabs all the data, the necessary data, and just say, okay, do a simple Python query to get that data. I need to show, sorry, time.
So quick question. What is the difference if you're fluent in Bash, why do you need the, if someone would be fluent in Bash, why do you need the agent to do it for you? Where's the benefit?
It's just much simpler. I like creating a Bash script is a command now. I can just say, okay, search me all the files. It's much simpler. It's just much simpler.
The slash u for you should show how you created the slash u command.
Yes.
So this is the key to.
Give me. So the question is always like, how do you work with this? And I was trying to prepare a demo, but I was bad at it, so I did a couple of screenshots. So this is a person actually yesterday that reached out to me, right? And I said, and I wanted to have more, and it was about like a meeting. And he said like, oh, can you, oh yes, great, I'll have book. They sent this Calendly or Office link, and I'll share it. And basically all I did is the above here, right? So this is my CRM. The above that you can see is just copy and paste from LinkedIn. I basically just copied and pasted in it, right? And just threw it over. There's no, like, I need to create something or look this up. And then see what it did, right? It started searching for that person name, right? Marcus something. It had different patterns. Okay, it found it, then it read it. Then it said, oh, great news. Marcus responded positively, and we've scheduled a meeting. Let's move from the customer's code, let's move it from the code to the customers, right? And let's like move the folder. Let's change the trust status. Let's make it a new contact, right? That's all it, like, I just pasted LinkedIn over, nothing more. And by the way, this also works with images. You just like, you do a screenshot of something, you just throw it over. And it happens to doing the right things. Right? It created a new activity. It created a new booking. Right? All this with just copy and paste. And finally,
how does it feel? Like, how does it feel working with this?
Magic. No, I mean, you see this, right? I mean, crazy in a sense, right?
Yeah.
If my CRM tells me, great news, Marcus responded positively and you've scheduled a meeting, it's like, Jesus, right? Yeah. This feels crazy. Yeah. But the important part is that you need to have this decoupled, because there's much more going on, right? Like I have different email campaigns, right? And then it's suddenly, oh, do you want to send this email campaign? Fuck, yes, that would be actually a good idea. He sent that signal, maybe, and I haven't even thought about it, just because the email campaigns are in my CRM, right? And it happens to be pulling it up. Yeah. I'm going to share the Claude MD, right? Right, so yeah, I happen to be that people are starting selling these, so maybe I don't know, but I would like use it as an inspiration. But start working with Markdown files, throw them in a folder, and come up with your own structures, right? Use YAML, front matter, etc. And then you get there. So how to get started, right? Download one of these tools, start in it. Because it creates this Claude MD, the other files are similar, and then give it a go. Final words, I'm building this tool for knowledge management. If anyone has this as a concept or is interested in it, please reach out to me.
What do you mean? But because this is interesting, like knowledge management is independent of CRM, or is it part of CRM stuff?
This is my other tool that I'm building.
Which one? Show us. Tab.
Huh? No, I'm not going to find the.
It's okay.
I'm not prepared.
But tell us.
So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to apply. This is like coding agents, Bash, etc. This is not for business users, right?
Yeah.
They're never only like I encourage you to do so because you have the power. But I want to bring similar concepts to business users.
Who would you like to talk to?
Everyone who faces a problem with knowledge sharing, especially people are retiring, people leaving companies, etc. That's my beachhead.
Who feels that they could be in that group of people and would be interested in talking to Matthias? Just so we see a raise of hands, then afterwards we have time to talk to Logan, so a couple of other people here and there. Yeah, just have a chat later.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yes.
Matthias, thank you.
Thank you. I'm here for questions.
I saw you raise your hands for a moment.
Yeah, so I'm also doing this, and
you do?
Yes, I do.
What the fuck?
There is a small but significant hack for you that you can employ, which is to just do this in Obsidian. So then you have a beautiful front end as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love that because I've tried it also and I've stopped using it. The similar, but I might try it again because
we
then
can talk about it later.
Yeah, chat about that.
Yeah, it changes your I feel like do everything in this terminal interface and it changes. So maybe it's not going to be marked down at some point.
How about you?
But why would you like Obsidian? What was the problem with that?
No, I don't need it. I don't need it.
You need it.
Right? So this beautiful interface. Yeah, sometimes yes, but in most cases I don't need it anymore.
And you love to live in the terminal.
Yes.
Yeah? that comes to that.
So, a large language model creates sequences, and sequences are linear. And so a file is a linear thing, and therefore files is a very nice thing. So I stumbled upon the exact same problem, that the LLMs are pre-trained to create sequences of a certain length. So for my issue, the LLM created almost quite a lot of stuff, and I had atomic database entries. So the solution was to let the LLM create JSON to keep it busy, and then afterwards atomize it. And then you have a real database underneath it, and then you have a ground truth, and you do not run into the context problem. And when you give data back from the database to the LLM, you create a query that looks for the LLM like a document, but it has been created on the fly from the single source of truth from your database.
There's all sorts of there's nothing that this is the only truth, right? It's just like Claude Code. They are working on files, right? So with the retrieving, the searching, that's what the agent SDK is doing, and that's what they're so great at, right? So it's like this push it in a database, pull it from a database. There's tons of use cases where that's applicable. But this is much simpler because you basically just throw everything in files. And we can debate whether it's the wrong, right, but that's their approach.
You have to take that meta lesson away. It happens that these tools are good at this way. And we simply conform to the ways that these tools in this current state in time love to process data. And this is why we do it that way. And if that changes, we will adapt our ways. But what I also would like you to take away is it just happens to turn out that code seems to be a very good way to process our information. That is not really intuitive. And even for all non-developers, really embrace that these code development tools happens to be the universal AI tool that everyone needs to learn to master. Yeah?
Don't shy away from the terminal. Give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try, definitely.
And if you're stuck with it, let me know.
So last questions for you, 1, 2, 3, and then Matthias, you can already hook your laptop up.
One really small question. I'm missing one specific invention from Anthropic 2, in the slides. And I think Anthropic makes a lot of this in their documentations. It's MCP.
Mhm.
Is it also because of complexity?
Yeah,
that you
great, thanks.
use complexity
Yeah,
a lot?
I've not talked. So MCP, Model Contracts Protocol. So basically, yeah, that's something that they also invented, and basically, it's a very simple way. Well, what happens is you tell an LLM, okay, these are my available tools, and the LLM chooses a tool to do something.
Translate everything into language which can be processed by
Yeah,
LLMs.
yeah.
So this is actually
The
best idea.
yeah, but the point is, like, I'm currently not using any MCP or any tools here because it just again happens to be simpler and working. That doesn't mean that it's not for certain cases it should not be working. There's also tons of other things. They just launched Skills, which is a progressive disclosure of Claude MD context management. So there's lots of other things that work. But the original author of Claude Code, he posted their setup, and it's much simpler. That people are going crazy. Start with something simple. Start with Claude, open it, and start giving it a try, and just with files.
Then those two guys. You first. You go first.
No, he said something, and now I have to think if my question is relevant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. For context, I work in computer graphics and I do GPU code, type parallelization, and multi-threading. Yeah. Problem is that I see. I want to ask you how you handle it. As I saw in your presentation, you only let it modify empty code. But for refactoring code in C++, C, CUDA, I wouldn't dare let it do its thing because I'm working with huge projects and letting it refactor my code without supervision might introduce some problems in my code. We're talking about like really highly optimized code that was written by people, and I'm a junior, so but these are like cases that I see that might cause problems.
So this is, for example, a very good question because he's the host, the AI Tinkerers. This is an AI Tinkerer question. When is the next one?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's not discuss that.
Yeah.
I put this into the WhatsApp. Here is Matthias's LinkedIn, and here's the link to the Cologne AI Tinkerers meetup.
Yeah.
There were 90% engineers in the room that had these kinds of questions. Yeah? Take that up. This is what AI Tinkerers is absolutely for, and use the time afterwards to chat with Matthias.
Yep.
Anything we can do for you before we let you go?
No.
Then thank you very much.
Thanks.
I have tried to convince this guy, Matthias Duncker, to finally do something in design with AI. And I think I got him. I got him there a little bit. Yeah, like 6 months I'm trying to convince him that he has a superpower, that he's coming from design and UX, and that we need to learn from people like him how to apply really good design to make things unique. But he's going to do a talk today mostly on typography and design with AI. Is that correct, Matthias?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. He will share his stuff with us on the weekend. He needs to prepare some of the docs. Yeah, but I made him share this, what he got so far. So thank you very much. Matthias, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster because small introduction. First of all, I think this idea was initiated by some message in the WhatsApp group, in the community group. So subscribe and join the WhatsApp group. And someone asked some question about design, and out of a sudden, like a lot of people responded to it and all said, "Oh, we are so interested in design." I was wondering, like, I am a designer. I studied communication design, and maybe I could give a talk. So I reached out to them and told him about that. And after that, I thought, what a bad idea. Because 20 minutes explaining something with design, it doesn't make sense. I'm not sure. No theory, no slides, right? Something practical. Yeah, I didn't prepare slides, so I didn't took it as a challenge. So, and I tried to get something practical out of it for you that you can take away some kind of. So this is kind of an experiment. And the other part is I'm working with AI and design like for a long time, but I haven't kind of published anything because I just use it for myself. This is kind of a trigger to show something for others or to make you or make it accessible for others. So I had the challenge what to tell you about design, and I tried to niche this topic down. And by the way, are there designers here? Anyone? Okay, a few. Close your eyes at times. But I really try to make it practical and no design theory or anything. This is not about aesthetics, nothing, because otherwise it won't work out. Okay, the other thing, or I got the question like, what has it to do with vibe coding? So, who is creating front end? Yeah, quite a few. So I would say it has something to do with vibe coding because I think the name is misleading, right? It's not about code only, it's about creating products or something. And if you have a front end, you have a surface, you're serving a customer or a client, or whatever, a user at least. And so design matters. On the other hand, with all those, with this vibe coding stuff, people don't really have the time to design stuff or to kind of, right, the whole thing is about being faster and just creating stuff. And okay, and now we come to the point why typography. And I had to niche down. So there are maybe 3 core components like layout, colors, and typography. And I've chosen typography because I think it kind of makes 80% of good design. If you screw up typography, you have just bad design. And actually, text is what we read. And what is important in interfaces for, I mean, we don't talk, I can see it now, but for humans to understand your interface and to interact with it and also to understand data. So I decided to go with typography. And it also happened to be a good choice because I think with this whole vibe coding stuff or movement and LLMs which are trained on public and hyped data and maybe overhyped data, a lot of people use ChatCM UI, which is fine, no offense, just as a matter of fact. And with that, also Tailwind, which is mandatory for using ChatCM UI. So you kind of have the vendor login. You just have to use it that way. Or, and it was a challenge for me. My personal challenge for myself was to get all that stuff accessible for you, for ChatCM, because I used Uno CSS and the rest some other libraries I built myself. So I tried to make it accessible for you. And the thing here is, ChatCM does not support typography at all. They explicitly say in their, I don't know, blog or on some page. So I thought, crazy, why not? And they fall back to Tailwind. And Tailwind, on the other hand, I don't know if it's typography. Tailwind, on the other hand, is okay. Not doing much, at least. They have like, they still cope with the basics of the internet, like from the beginnings, like having different levels of text and different sizes, and that's all. That's not really a system, like when you randomly use all those classes and assign them to some random components, and this is, it works, especially with vibe coding, right? Because it does a lot for you, but on the other hand, your code gets less and less controllable or maintainable. And so this is all opinionated. You don't have to use it at all. You can forget about it. I just want to show you my way, and I really would like to start with an example. No theory, no tech. You can ask questions afterwards. I just want to show you something and maybe just explain a mechanism I use for getting kind of nice typography in maybe seconds, partially by coding whatever. Just so see this kind of as a demo. And created just a simple website here with text, and I will just demonstrate it. I have a controller, so no worries. I just will jump through it, bop, 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 and we can go deeper afterwards. By the way, it's also connected to vibe coding because I vibe coded partially and created a conversational interface. So make this flat. Okay,
light show.
Yeah. Then is it silly? Yeah, okay. And the other thing is, it's just for fun. It's not necessary, but yeah, you can actually give commands to your front end and not to your code, which is kind of interesting. It's just an experiment in the beginning, so I'm working on it. Enough for now. Okay, and the thing here is, like, think of all these classes you attach to style fonts, and for sure, most of it is done by vibe coding initially, but then you start like, I would love to have this headline a little bit bigger, or this a little bit smaller, or this headline does not align with this headline on that page. But really, you can set up rules and everything, but it's kind of a strange way. It's just like how it used to be, like designers design stuff in Figma, and they have their great concepts and all of that, and then they put out tokens, and developers put these thousands of tokens, they have reassembled the design, which is kind of a strange way, I think. And the system, maybe, of in my case, of text or typography, gets lost, which is super strange in my opinion. And we should just continue using the system also in code. And this is why I came up with it like years ago, and now I try to make it accessible as a Schätzchen registry. Okay, I will just pull down all sliders so that we can start. We see it's all like the same font size, it's just plain text, and that's it. And I created a system where I can decide about hierarchy of different sections in the system. So just, by the way, let's make this bigger. Just to make it like stand out or something, right? I can have bigger sections, I can have smaller sections, and when I change it, the difference from regular text to larger text or to smaller text changes. So it gets more extreme, right? You can see it in the graph, like if you have no scale or really flat text, it's all on the same level. And when you pull this up, you already have like difference and hierarchy from section to section. On the other hand, we have the classic type scale, which is just a kind of, I don't like it. It's just a random multiplier, like giving you bigger and bigger fonts step by step. And you can use it as well for in section, so for the different roles of the text blocks, like for the displays element or for the headline. I don't have more. By the way, when do I have to finish?
We have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, really? Okay. We did a lot of time. Sorry. Let's
Q&A.
Go. Yeah, just
which you can
shows to create a quick landing page. So
go for it, Nate.
Okay, type scale. Just go up, and you can go really extreme. You have to find the balance, right? And then for those who really love to stand out, I have a drama factor just to really make these differences more extreme. And you can like combine this, and then you have out of the box kind of a great system. You don't have to cope with any strange classes or anything. And this is small, or it comes. Pardon?
If we have to read it, maybe.
Yeah, not really. It's okay. Just wanted to show you quickly that you have just really clean code. You have a headline component, a body component, a display component, and some other components just for the roles of the text. No crazy classes or anything, and everything is connected, and you can just make three parameters, or use 3 parameters to have like a whole system without having to tune any single font style individually. Sorry, I'm running out of time. I'm a little bit hectic now, but I wanted to show you maybe.
Don't stress out.
Yeah, always. So I just copy pasted just to be quick here. Okay, we have a meetup called Coding Cologne. Please make a marketing page for it. It is about vibe coding, AI code, and product. Just short, it's okay. Please don't expand the hero vertically to screen height, which is a special code. And create it here. Is there some? Yeah, I created backup. But okay, it's okay. Marketing. And use the components which I put in the room, so nothing too special. I will just switch to marketing, nothing there yet.
I'm curious what your setup is. So you're on this code.
Yeah, I think I would change it. It gets
Which?
slower and slower. It's like a root code
Okay.
and open router, and I think like I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but there's too much delay with open router at times. Like
Which model do you use?
Currently, I try the how's it called, GLM 4.7.
Okay. Interesting, right?
Not really sure about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not 100%.
This is a very non-standard setup. This is why I needed to ask.
Yeah, it's just because I'm really lazy changing IDEs or just switching stuff, or I don't want.
Very interesting.
I don't want to run with the hype or something. I just stick to my old stuff, which is kind of working. Okay, I have to close it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
very drama.
Oh, this is very puristic, I would say.
Yeah.
But okay. I got other.
Shit, I gotta redesign my website.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we can do other stuff like switch to black background and white typography.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah, that's just to get closer to your website.
I actually hit the toggle for light mode. I had it in for 3 weeks. Couldn't bear it. When I saw the screen recordings from post hoc and people using light mode, I had to puke. So I hit it. It's still there.
Okay, and now you still have what's happening here? Right. And now you can just fine tune it and do stuff however you like.
Can you show us what the Tailwind CSS that you copied actually is in there?
That's a problem. I talked to Adam Wayton like years ago about Tailwind and asked him like, how can we get more programmatically with it? And he said, unfortunately not possible.
Yep.
But he was very interested in the idea and had some exchange of thoughts and created his own stuff. This is why I'm on CSS, because it's free to use, and not in terms of commercially or financially, but you are not bound, and you can really go crazy with generative design, which I like. Also, although I'm a designer, I really love to be lazy. And so you asked for the actually they are like. You have the global
CSS.
Global CSS. Sorry, because some stuff it's really hard to look on such a small. This is like the default stuff, right? This is a playground project, just default stuff, and I just import this file, and this gets generated. But you have like variables for the different roles of typography. That's it basically. And some settings for like the appearance. And this is the default, the default appearance, like when you have no media queries running or something for matching. And then I created yeah, like the media queries, and that's it. And I have some kind of specialties that I have nested classes. I know it's forbidden in Tailwind, but I don't give a fuck because I don't want to have like thousands of different. It doesn't make sense for me, right? And I just want to have headline, display, body. That's it. That's enough for structuring text. Is it? I'm not sure. Like, yeah. I don't need. I don't need 6 headlines from HTML, semantic HTML. It's from an age where the internet was built for scientists and who wanted to write their articles or whatever, and I don't need it. So I just stick to a few typographic roles, and then I just tell it with such a context class, like size small. I don't know. Sorry, I'll finish soon. This is what we generated. Let me check if there's something in here. Yeah, size medium, size large. It says like the hero should be larger, right? But you still have an overline, display, and body. That's it. And the next section looks like the same. It's just like the medium default size. And do we have something small? Yeah, here we have a few more tiles or whatever. Sure. Yeah, here's some, and it made it smaller. That's it. But it's the same structure of text, right? It's still.
It's nice and consistent. I think like building those rules out for your design system and creating.
It's not much. It's not too complicated. It's just like.
What would you do after typography? What is the next thing you would put a rule framework out? What is the next biggest impact on design after typography?
Coming from this point, actually, I have a
coming from that
system like in Unisys, right? I would go to spacing, because that's really annoyed me when I created the demo. That spacing is so off, and it's like for me as a designer.
So typography, spacing,
and colors is like I think like depends on. Do you want to build a brand, or is it just for aesthetics? Actually, you don't need colors from 0 to 1 or for a landing page. Actually, there is some proof that ugly landing pages work sometimes even better than these ones. So I see it fully functional, but spacing is kind of mandatory. So
let's take some questions.
Just one explanation. So I created. So I will send it to you at the weekend or something.
Yeah.
Like I have to.
Don't worry about it. Just send it in the WhatsApp.
I created like I call it thread UI because I kind of want to go into the right direction of conversation interfaces, and I have a registry, so you can just download these few components. This is I think already possible, but I wanted to write documentation so that you can kind of follow along. Right? It was much.
And you use ChatCN for the registry.
Yeah, actually, just to make it accessible. No benefit for me, but maybe, accessibility could be a benefit marketing-wise. But
you can share your Venmo.
Yeah, it's just I want to share it. Then it's I'm still using CSS.
Cool. Let's take some questions.
Sure.
Have you thought of making this like little window? I don't know what you call it. A web browser extension for people who actually develop.
If I could make it a plugin or an add-on for a browser.
Yeah. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm not 100% sure where this goes, or I'm kind of in developing intent-based design system, because I think the truth is not in code, truth is not in design, it's intent, user intent. And it goes back there because this proves that the intent is fulfilled. And I actually think about like what tools could work, which tools could be sold maybe, because I would love to make most of the stuff for free, but maybe have some tools for designers to actually, you could make typography like in seconds. It might be worth to sell it, I'm not sure. It might be a little benefit.
Here? And then you?
I think the idea was to hack existing sites and just tweak ugly existing sites with this tool.
Way too much.
Please don't understand me wrong.
Okay.
My thought was that having this as a plugin for people who are coding websites to like maybe check the vibe of the website, like increasing the font, decreasing the font, just so you land on a decision choice.
making this easier for people to actively develop, making the process easier, thereby faster, and not fixing something that looks ugly, just to assist developers who are developing websites.
So if you use this system I built, it kind of does not make a big difference, like if it's in the browser or as an add-on in the other. Is it if it's like opened on the website or in the browser? I'm not sure. Or so it doesn't matter. It could be in a browser extension. Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
but it just works with this system. That's clear. And I think there is another library. I have to look it up and can send it in the chat, which actually extracts data from existing websites and kind of who's the copy-paste guy just say, oh, it's the BMW website and I want to have the same style, you can copy-paste it. I have to look it up.
Thank you very much. Do you want to hook yourself up?
Yep.
Like, I really want to, if there is somebody in here who is really dug deep into this whole building Lego blocks into a design system so you can create consistent designs, is that you?
Yeah, it's actually my job. I'm developing a new UI library for that company.
That we would, I guess, who would love to hear from that experience?
It doesn't have anything to do with AI.
That's okay. We are not AI only. This is product development and marketing, and AI just happens to be the latest pig we run through the village. Yeah? We don't care. So Marcelo actually does something that Matthias is also very interesting in, which is like conversational UX. Yeah, so Matthias, feel free to contribute. He already gave a talk on that, I think like 2 months ago. So Marcelo, what do you have in store for us? Give us a little sneak peek.
Yeah. So today I'm going to be talking about patterns of conversational UI in agentic applications.
What do you do?
And yeah, I will get to that.
Okay. Then take it away. Thank you very much.
So before I do that, I have to work. Because otherwise.
Get some long.
Yeah, I need to synchronize. Yeah.
No code in the wrong section.
Otherwise, I don't know what I'm talking about because I can see anything. Yeah, that's good. All right. Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Marcelo, co-founder of Agentic Systems, developer. The QR code is my LinkedIn if you want to go. And we develop an agentic commerce platform, and its first incarnation is for the travel industry. And we've been having a thesis since we began, and that is that voice is going to be the main way that we will interact with AI in the future. We are not there yet, of course. There are very many different ways of integrating voice into applications, and I want to talk about what we've learned so far with several products and product iterations that we've done. So we've developed a couple of seller agents that sell you trips or parts of trips. We have a more complex travel agent that I'm going to try and show today. And also we've done a couple of special purpose agents, like we had a crazy idea of having our whole website consist of just an agent that you could talk to, but I'm going to explain why we don't do that anymore in a second. So after doing all of that stuff, we gathered feedback from users and from customers, and I wanted to share with you what we've learned about that. And we call these patterns, and so far we have 3 categories. We have the foundational patterns, which we believe at least are the basis of every new agent that incorporates voice and classic UIs that we are going to build in the future. And then we have hybrid user experience patterns, which is how do
do you build the combination of both? How do you build the combination of talking to an agent and at the same time having elements of classic UI that the user can interact with? And then we have advanced patterns, which I think we only have one so far, but it's nevertheless advanced and interesting, and if time permits, I'm going to show it. So let's get started right away. And initially, I wanted to go like one pattern and then switch to the demo, show it, and go to that. But that takes 45 minutes, so I have to kind of condense everything, otherwise Ben is going to be very angry at me, or I will be cut off hard. So first of all, like I said, we focus on voice, and we say that your product or your agentic user experience has to be voice first-ish. And we say ish because we know that we want and have to encourage voice, but we cannot start with voice right away, right? So if you load your website, whatever it is, and the first thing that happens is that it tries to talk to you, that will cause problems. We tried that, we did that, we made the mistake, and people got angry with us. And the ones that didn't get angry with us called us, and this is real feedback from users, and said your website's broken. Because the first time you start with voice, you, in the browser at least, you will get the microphone dialog asking you for permission to use the microphone, and many users don't know what the hell that is, and they are going to say, your website's broken, it doesn't work, you get some strange error, and you don't even read what it says, they just say it's broken, it doesn't. So we came up with the idea, or with the rule, that to say you have to explicitly enable voice. It has to be a direct result from a user interaction. You can start with it, but you have to say somewhere, now, if you want, it's much better, enable it. And then, when there is voice activity, when you are talking, or the AI is talking, you have to give real-time feedback. Otherwise, very strange things will happen, right? People will talk, nothing happens, they will talk again, but in the background it is working and it is trying to understand what you're saying, and then it's going to be a mess because your conversation is going to be totally chaotic. And there are many ways of doing this. We've played with orbs, like this weird, mostly circular, mostly 3D objects, or you can have like waveforms or whatever. Or sometimes the VAI, the voice activity indicator, is just a toggle. So there are many ways of doing this, and which one you choose is up to you. But you have to consider both the human and the AI voice, right? So if you show something for when the AI is talking, we made ourselves a pattern out of doing the same with the voice that is the human speaks into the microphone. And the fourth one here is always transcribe the voice. I don't know if you've seen it, I've seen it many times in some voice interfaces that you get, instead of the transcription, you get this like embedded media player with what you said. It's basically a WAV file that is embedded in the dialogue, and then you can click on play. Don't do that, right? Because again, you don't know what your users are, where they are, what's their environment. It can be in a place where they cannot listen to anything because they don't have earphones, or because it's public space, or whatever it is. And if you do that, you're forcing them to do that. And actually, if it's about just keeping the log of the conversation, the written form is just bad. Right. So, like I said, voice is first. But the conversation has to be multimodal, and with modality I mean voice or text, right? So your users can be in an environment where they have to switch between voice and text, even during one session. So you have to allow for every message to be either text or voice if you want to incorporate this kind of user experience. And then there is the number 6. The differentiation between VAD or PTT. VAD is voice activity detection, which is a bit harder to do because it's basically listening all the time, and when you speak to it with a certain threshold, it detects voice, and it also has to detect when you stop speaking, so it's a little bit more fragile maybe, but it's the more natural way to do it. And the other technique, which is also very used very often, is P2T, with push to talk, where you press a button and either it starts recording and then you press stop, or you have to keep the button pressed while you speak and release it when you are finished talking. VAD definitely is the more natural way of doing it, although it's a bit more complex. Number 7 of foundational is always use a mute button. And there are many ways I've seen this implemented. Some people even implement 2 mute buttons, one to mute the AI and one to mute the human. I think that's confusing. It's much easier to mute both at the same time, because the purpose of the mute button is maybe you're in your house and then the doorbell rings, or the dog starts barking, which happens to me all the time. And then I don't want the AI to try and transcribe my dog's barking, so I push mute, and then it's both ways. It's both muting. But what happens if the AI is streaming a transcription, streaming the text either from its response or your own voice that it is transcribing, and then you press mute? I have seen this error being done many times. Sometimes it cuts the production of the text, and that's a no-no, so you don't do it. You finish the streaming regardless of the muting. Right? The muting is just for the audio. And last but not least is you as a human can always interrupt the AI, right? So you can, if the AI is talking, you can just talk, and that has to interrupt the AI. However, the AI cannot interrupt you because you are in charge. So this is the first part, and I'm going to, now this is of course the terrifying part because it's a live system, and I'm going to give it a try and see if it works. So this is a travel planning agent, surprisingly, and I'm just going to do a couple of interactions so that you can see what I just saw, hopefully, in practice. Hey, help me plan my trip to Barcelona.
Estaré encantado de ayudarte a planificarlo. ¿Cuándo tienes pensado viajar?
Speak English, please.
Of course. Let's plan your trip to Barcelona. When are you thinking of going, and how long do you plan to stay?
January 20th to January 25th.
Got it. We've got about a few days to make the most of Barcelona. Are you more into history and culture, food and nightlife, or a bit of everything?
I don't care for now, just help me with the flights.
Sure thing. Could you tell me which city or airport you'll be flying from?
I'll be flying from Cologne.
All right, let me find some flight options from Cologne to Barcelona for those dates. Give me just a second.
Not bad.
All right, so this is the first part. We're going to jump into the second part in a second. Let's go back to this here. Okay, so you saw what I just was talking about, the modality and the interruption and all that stuff. Now we go to the hybrid list. All right, so when you tell the AI to do something, to fetch data or to present something in the screen, you don't want the AI to start reading out long lists of stuff, right? And this is classic stuff that I've seen done many times. So let's say in our case, it's going to be flights in a minute. If it finds 50 flights, you don't want the AI to start reading, I found flight number 1 and it has this price and it goes from this airport to this airport. That's a crazy. You go crazy listening to that. And it also burns a lot of tokens unnecessarily because we don't want that. What you want is you want to present the data in a more traditional way and just let the AI present and maximum values, for example, which is also very common, like the cheapest and shortest. Yes?
I have a question about that. Is that important to delineate in that way because you need to build the reporting tool in the background that the model calls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, we'll get into that in a minute of how we do it conceptually at least. But yeah, that's of course you need to have the AI understand what is possible to do, and then you have to think in terms of your users and what they would normally expect that can be done. So this is also point number 4. You have to think in the language of the users, of course. So don't use technical terms. If the users say, I want to go for flights, it has to work the same way as if you say, I want to search for flights, or give me the flights, or take me to the flights, or whatever it is. But don't rely on technical terms. Don't expect people to say, please open the flight modal dialog, whatever it is. That's not going to work because, of course, these people don't know what that is. Then number 5 is one thing that we've learned also painfully along the journey is use plenty of examples, right? So your domain language, you cannot or you should not leave your domain language up to the LLM because it's going to hallucinate and it's going to not understand exactly what you're saying. And as you probably know, some terms have different meanings depending on where you use them in what context, so you cannot rely on that. You have to give the agent a lot of examples about what can be said. And this is also true for not only for words, but also for numbers, right? Currencies, prices. And then number 6 is something that we've not done ourselves yet, but we have to do it. We just haven't got to do it. Is add a demo mode. Add some visual cue to tell people what they actually can do with such a UI, because it's new and nobody has a clue about what they can do. And there is a classic example here. So now I'm going to jump back here. This one.
You got 2 minutes.
All right, I'm going to hurry up. I'm going to start a new one and then show you what.
I like the loading screen.
Yeah, thanks. And by the way, of course, all of this is it's not bug code, but it's context engineered. Switch to map view, please. Yeah, that's a classic. A classic didn't work. That's interesting.
That's unusual.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
Sometimes it takes a moment or two. Let me know if it updates on your end.
Not really, but doesn't matter. This is when you work last minute before showing something. So we're going to try just very quickly one another method. It doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. Here. Switch to map view, please.
बिल्कुल मैं अब उर्दू
Switch to the map view.
बिल्कुल मैं अब
Discriminating you.
हम दुनिया के किसी भी
First of all, speak English, please, and then switch to the goddamn map view now.
I've already
Sure.
switched to that view.
She's understanding.
You haven't? I can see that you haven't.
Always understood.
Right.
Let me fix that right away. And make sure you're seeing the map view properly now. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. Anyway.
It's okay, thanks. Didn't you develop this at the hackathon?
The first version, yes.
Amazing, like how this developed. Like it doesn't matter about map view, absolutely not. But the development is very, very interesting, and I thank you so much for sharing the voice UX pattern learnings that you learned from that. Anything you want to pitch to us, or share on WhatsApp?
Yeah, I can share the slides later on.
Thank you.
The demo is not public yet,
yeah.
Of course, because it's kind of buggy sometimes. No, besides that, just for the fun of it.
All right, let's take a couple of questions. Yeah. How would you start and then you?
Do you think to create a landing page for the user equipped with all the needs he has, the constraints and everything, and make it easily accessible for the user to select between the options?
Yeah, so we think that probably the first version, the first commercial version of this is going to be not a full-blown like portal like I shown here, but it's going to be like an assistant on the side. It's going to be much smaller and much more reduced, and then the users can opt into that. They can use the traditional way, but they also can use the new voice agent stuff if they want.
So I like how fast and responsive the model is. The first question, was it all locally hosted? And second, which models did you use?
It's not locally hosted. It's a Kubernetes cluster running on AWS, and it's real-time API from OpenAI for the voice. But we can switch it to other stuff. Grok has released the same, which is even API compatible to OpenAI's, but costs the half the price. So very interesting for us. And for smaller tasks like summarization and stuff like that, we use some smaller models. It can be Anthropic Haiku or GPT-5 Nano.
But this means that
Andreas
text
and
text to speech
Matthias?
was both from the real time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andreas and Matthias, then we have to take a break.
So before you mentioned voice activation over push to talk,
Yeah.
can you go a bit deeper there? Because I'm just wondering why you are saying.
Because it's more natural. And also we've seen that people that are not familiar with this kind of interface, which is pretty much everyone besides people sitting in this room, because we're more technically maybe inclined, they just don't. And they maybe know it from WhatsApp, like recording a voice message, but that's it. And then translating that into another user interface. In our experiments, at least, and from the feedback we've received, people get confused by that. They don't hit the button, and they miss with the mouse, and it's a mess. Then it creates like 3 different messages, 1 sentence, and it's super messy.
Okay, but maybe for power users, push to talk would still be.
Maybe, yes.
Because we've seen, for example, before, like when you just keep recording and then something unexpected happens or so on, maybe you just don't hit the mute button immediately, you pollute your context window with bullshit.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You, last question.
Yeah, I'm two-sided. One thing I recognize when you're working with voice or conversational interfaces is that LLMs love to keep you busy, and I think this is also something you really have to control to end discussions and not always be the last one. Although I like the responsiveness, I'm really excited to hear like in the future like how people react. They get that they can interrupt because I think most will just listen and maybe just it's a transition.
Yeah.
And one question I had. Do you use a front-end library or something like Copilot Kit or a protocol for like for the actions in the on the web app to switching interfaces, for example? What do you use?
It's the front-end is just a React application, and we have our own React-based technology that we call AppAware, which does the translation between. Which is able to automatically add semantic meaning to certain components, and do the back and forth between the agent and the UI. So the UI, the agent knows what we're talking about when we say do something in the UI.
Yeah, maybe quick follow-up. Have you seen? Are you not interested in the common protocols, or have you seen challenges? Or are not satisfied?
What's common
protocols? UI or I think or
UI or something like that.
Do you want to have that chat with a rum in 20 minutes?
No, we have it now. Yeah, we can chat afterwards.
Yeah, so in 15 minutes we all gonna have time to network.
The new one, right?
Yeah.
Which is another one.
A2UI is too slow. We tried it, it's too slow.
Too slow, okay.
Let's give Marcelo an applause. Thank you. Right, those were the 3 talks, 3.5 if you count my interactive article thing. Any wishes for the next time that you think is interesting for a large amount of this room? Let's say at least 30% of the room. What do you want to hear?
Yeah, a live coding demo.
Live coding demo, like typical SaaS feature development.
Whatever.
Yep.
Combination on the assistant, the commit assistant, or the new plugin from for X browsers by Claude. How do you combine that in your vibe coding so they can already work in tech groups?
Interesting.
That's
Yeah, it's interesting. So how do you work with browser AI agents in combination with our vibe coding? What else would be on your wish list?
A lot of people here are interested in automation, as
Yeah.
far as I saw. That's why, me personally, I don't know the main
Go for it.
concept. How you can use NLM to make really good agents with, for example, self-made tools or stuff,
Yeah.
so that the agents can really make do a lot of exercises.
That would be good. Last maybe?
A flashlight presentation where a large group of people just bring one agent or one skill or 2 agents they really love and use every day, and just showcase what it is and what this agent is cool, and just 1 minute per skill or agent.
5.
Yeah. No, one is perfect. Okay, you heard what people want. You might have your own ideas. Please hook me up in the WhatsApp or on the ben@pirateskills.com and send me a message with what you want to hear, what you want to present in the next time. Then I book you in. I think I have 2 slots left in the February meetup. Yeah? All right. So how can you go on with this journey? Yeah, just so you know, because the community created a lot of resources over time with me. If you go to the product overview page from Pirate Skills, we always have these 2 aspects, like building and growing. Yeah, the Vibe Coding Cologne community covers both, but we every month have 3 events, 1 offline like this and 2 online. The Builder Lab to do what we're doing today, but online, and then the Growth Lab for marketing purposes. And each of these tracks has a complete free resource we call the Codex, which is a step-by-step guide to get you into building your first SaaS, complete with prompts and everything. So if you're wondering, how do I get Cursor and a Next.js app set up on my machine? I've never done this. Just click on one of the lessons, learn a little bit about it, copy this prompt, put it into Cursor or whatever you like, and it will set things up for you. You continue developing, build a landing page, feel a bit of the magic, and continue going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole that vibe coding absolutely is. Yeah? Take your time, have patience with yourself. This can feel very overwhelming, and there's a huge development skill gap, but we try to learn from each other. And I learn from developers as much as from the people who talk about this from the non-developer perspective. Yeah, so in next Friday, for example, I'm interviewing the head of growth from SaaS Group. Yeah, do you know SaaS Group from Cologne? They are now having cracked the 100 million ARR for B2B SaaSes. And then we can bring her in and talk to topics that you're interested in, but suggest people to me that you would like to hear from. Then, so you got those 2 types of events, Builder Lab, Growth Lab, the Codex. If you want a bit more hand-holding, we got the Forges. Those are 6-week either vibe coding workshops or the Growth Forge. The Builder Forge has started today, and I already saw a couple of people who were in there. I think Tim Yeah, Alexa was there. She's already out last time, and I'm willing to give you a personal onboarding session if you still want to join this week. And you just write me a mail to ben@pirateskits.com or hit me up on WhatsApp, and I make sure that you didn't miss out anything from the first week. It's always Wednesday from 15:30 to 17:30, and if you use the discount code VIBE250, you get 250 euros off. Yeah, VIBE 250 if you want to join. You can always find the upcoming events here, and if you click on free, those are all of the free events. You can see that we have 3 events every month. The next Growth Lab is on January 14th. This is where we're going to talk about the Calm Builder Funnel, a marketing approach that not even developers will hate, and especially people getting into the system. Let's say Matthias wanted to sell his CRM system. The funnel, the simplest, most effective funnel that I would build for him is what we are going to share there, called the Calm Builder Funnel. Let me share that in WhatsApp. If you're interested, everything that is called Lab is online. Yeah. Anything I wanted to share? The next hackathon is going to be on March 20th. Who was there at the last hackathon? I'm just curious. That was a wild experience, wasn't it? Like totally crazy what came out of that. And I absolutely invite you to join. It's going to be here at Startplatz. I'm going to, of course, send out an email on that, but it's a 48-hour crazy mode. Yeah, we can just dig into all of this. And we have through the 2 weeks also educational sessions set up where you can just come to dive deeper into this topic. I totally underestimated how much interest was there, also on the education part. I just thought people wanted to hack, but that was only the advanced people. They just wanted to hack. Everyone else came to learn.
What was the date again?
From March 20th to the 22nd. So we still have time. I'll put it also up here in the events section. Yeah, the forges are starting every quarter. Builder Forge started today. Last minute onboarding session is on offer. The Growth Forge, if you really want to now take that SaaS that you're building and make it public and make it popular, that's what the Growth Forge is for. And I believe in this mantra: build, grow, repeat. Build something valuable that you can put in the hands of real users every week, and then shine a flashlight on it, show it to people, demonstrate it, attract more customers, get feedback. Next week starts, and you have something great to build based on real user feedback. Yeah, let's keep practicing that. Let's have some fun and enjoy some rum and some entertainment in the next hour. See you guys next time.